Hello, this is Steve Malone with Compass FX. I hope you're doing well today and you get some good trades. Over the years, I've received a number of emails, and one of the emails I've received recently is, what is your favorite indicator of all? Well, my favorite indicator of all is price. If you can learn price and learn the variations of price and learn how to read price, you're going to be way far ahead of the game. Now, whether you're using candlesticks or you're using average price bars, Renko bars, whatever it is you may be using, and whatever time frame you may be trading on, it's good to learn price patterns, or also known as chart patterns, like a double top, a double bottom, a head and shoulders. These particular patterns, which happen over and over again, have the tendency to complete themselves 65 to 80% of the time. If you can identify a pattern and know the direction of how that pattern completes itself, you're ahead of the game by a long shot. All you have to do at that point is use some money management. But setting price aside, what is my favorite indicator? Well, long story short, years ago as I was trading, I was trying to find an indicator that would agree and at the same time potentially disagree with price direction. I started learning that there is certain sentiment in the marketplace. What's the decisions that buyers are doing? What's the decisions sellers are doing in the marketplace? And this division, this difference between buyers and sellers, this so-called sentiment in the marketplace, did it agree with what price was doing, or did it disagree with what price is doing? And what I found is when you take price action and market sentiment and they both agree and they're both moving the same direction, you have a higher probable trade. I'll give you an example. If you take a look at this chart, this is a euro-dollar 30-minute chart. Over the European session today, we see price moving to the downside. At the same time, the Traders Dynamic Index, which is down below right here, started making a move to the downside. So after years of looking for an indicator that would give me overall market sentiment, I couldn't find it. And a good friend of mine, actually a pretty good trader, had suggested, Dean, if you can't find what you're looking for, then make it. Make an indicator that tells you what you want to see. And so after a number of years of testing and trying different things, I finally developed the Traders Dynamic Index. The Traders Dynamic Index compares current market sentiment to overall market sentiment, and then you can take this and compare it to price action. And let me share with you what I'm talking about here. You can look at current sentiment being the green and the red line, and they give you these crossovers. And the yellow line is referred to as the market baseline. Now, the original developer of the Relative Strength Index, Wells Wilder, had the 50% level as the market baseline. But with today's market, it's not fluid enough to have a stationary 50% line. So the market baseline represents the overall direction, the overall sentiment in the marketplace. And the overall sentiment usually lags behind current sentiment. But it's very important to understand that when current sentiment is bucking the trend of the overall sentiment, typically price and current sentiment is going to follow the overall sentiment. Let me share with you what I'm talking about here. You can see this market baseline moved down, kind of moved up a little bit, and fell back over. If you'll notice that there's a slight trend line to the downside if you just look at the high back here in the market baseline compared to this lower high. And look what current sentiment did. Current sentiment dropped, came up, tested, and then fell back over. Typically what I find is when the Traders Dynamic Index is moving and moving in one direction, but price is just staying flat, that is a sign of continuation potentially. And that's what we got. We can see here that current sentiment is moving away from the overall direction of overall sentiment, the bigger picture, and eventually it collapses and makes a move down. And notice here, right about where this line is drawn, we get a little crossover here, but if I move it over just a bit more, you can see that eventually current sentiment crossed over the market baseline, the yellow line, and made a move on down. And price was continuing its move to the downside. As a matter of fact, price made its biggest amount of movement well after the Traders Dynamic Index had already told me the direction of the sentiment in the marketplace. So again, when you take price action and you relate that to market sentiment, and they're both moving in the same direction, you have a higher probable trade. In this case, the green line under the red line and the green line under the yellow line were moving in a downward direction. Market sentiment moving down, price action moving down. Now the question is, can I use this on any time frame? Yes, you can. I developed the Trader's Dynamic Index to where you can use it on any time frame, be it a 1 minute chart to a 1 month chart. So if you're that hyperactive scalper, or you're that long-term trader, whatever it is that you may be, you can use this indicator. Let me give you a couple examples. You can see on the pound dollar 5 minute chart, there were times where the market made a move up, and you can see the move up. You can see where the market crossed over, and it crossed over the downside. Now, is there a bit of lag to the Trader's Dynamic Index? Yes, there is. Because if you were trading up right here and this rolled back over, you can see that the crossover happened right there. So you would have given back some in the trade. In this case, the market crossed over right here, made a move up above the price action channel, made a move up. And the interesting thing is, see how the market kind of dipped back down? The price dipped back down to the price action channel, these two yellow lines. Notice in the Trader's Dynamic Index, it kind of came back, but bounced off the red line and continued up. That would give you the opportunity to potentially stay in that trade. Here's a 4-hour chart. You can see here that the price moved down, came back up. You can see it here that the price moved down. And I often share with folks that if you have market sentiment that's going down and it's below, the green line is below the market baseline, higher probable movement to the downside. So here not only are we below the 50 line in the Trader's Dynamic Index, we're also below the yellow line, a nice move down. Going to the weekly chart, here's another example. Again, we have a crossover here, and that crossover happened pretty early. You can see that the crossover happened somewhere in this bar or the next bar, and we have a nice move up. Again, you see how the market pulls back right here, and you can see that it came down and bounced off the red line and pushed higher, kind of peaked right there and fell back over. A pretty good exit potential right in this area. And then notice how this move down, we had a 3-step move down. I often mention to folks in my trading room, look for a 3-step move. The market moved down, pulled back, moved down, pulled back, moved down, then pulled back. We'll have to see what the CAD does, but I think we're due for a correction in the CAD. Notice the Trader's Dynamic Index, a 1 pullback, a 2 pullback, a 3 pullback, and now a crossover. Now, it might languish a bit because the green is under the yellow, and they'll probably meet somewhere close to the 50 line, being the neutral line right there. There's a possibility of a move back up. We could possibly see this, and I do expect the CAD over the coming weeks to get up above the 108 level. So long story short, my most favorite indicator is price, and behind that is the Trader's Dynamic Index. If you want to download a free copy of the Trader's Dynamic Index, simply go to www.compassfx.com/synergy and register for the synergy model. It's going to look very similar to this right here. You're going to get the average price bars, the price action channel, and the Trader's Dynamic Index. And again, that's www.compassfx.com/synergy. Well, this is Steve Malone with Compass FX. Y'all make it a great day. Get some good trades. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.